My talk today is going to be on the intersection of business and AI. I see many of you in the audience, I think, are currently in the middle of your O and A levels. This means that you are digital natives. You have been born into a world where smartphones already exist, where internet connectivity is nearly constant. So you are tech savvy and highly proficient in digital tools, and you rely on connectivity and AI systems. You must be very familiar with AI systems probably already. Can I get a show of hands? How many of you have used an AI tool in this past week? Hi. And in this past month? As I thought. So you already use it at least a lot more than I do. You are currently living through what we call the fourth industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution started with the advent of the steam engine and the mechanization of manufacturing. The second industrial revolution came up with the use of electricity and the internal combustion engine. The third revolution was the internet revolution. And now, the AI age is upon us. We are told it is going to dramatically change how we live and how we work. And there are many uses, as Dr. Appel also talked about. When I was your age, I lived through a big change and transformation of my own when the internet became widely available in the mid-90s. In the beginning, it was painfully slow. We had to connect to the internet by dialing up using a phone. Download speeds were very slow. It was tough. But very quickly, it became better. Connectivity became cheaper and more affordable, easier. Information was more accessible. It brought lots of conveniences. And the business world was by far the greatest beneficiary of the age of the internet. In business, you could communicate more easily. You could collaborate better. You could do more things quickly. So you could do more things overall. In a word, what the internet did for the business community was it increased productivity. Higher productivity is what drives business growth. It is the engine that businesses use to generate profits. It allows them to produce more, to sell more, to make more money. Artificial intelligence is said to be the internet revolution on steroids. Currently, AI may be prone to errors and hallucinations, and some of the output that you generate is very clearly computer made. And then there are good uses of it as well. But it is going to get better. And increasingly, as it gets better, it will be more and more woven in to our daily life, integrated into our work, our personal lives. And like the internet, soon it will be part of everyday things, everything we do. And the business world will certainly adopt it and use its productivity benefits to increase profits. So, what kind of a future will all of you step into? What will the nature of business be? When artificial intelligence is increasingly woven into everything we do, what can we expect businesses to do? And in this environment, how will you leave your mark? How will you help create and shape the world that you live in? These are big questions, big, multifaceted, complex questions, and maybe too much for a 15-minute talk. But I want to share with you some of my own thoughts and experiences. I have worked as a banker, as a management consultant. I have started software technology companies that have helped businesses improve their efficiency and productivity. And in doing so, I have seen how different businesses operate, different kinds of industries, how they operate all over the world. And the more I learned about different businesses, it got me questioning much more some of the basic assumptions that we take for granted about both technology and business. So, what I would like today is to raise some thoughts, and I hope that you take these questions away with you and you return to them time and again as you progress through your own educational and professional careers. In order for us to think about what kind of a world AI will create in business and how AI will shape business, I think it will be helpful for us to reflect a bit on the history of business and how business itself has evolved over time. In its simplest terms, business is the buying and selling of goods and services to make a profit. This has existed pretty much through the entirety of human civilization. It's a line of work, a means to make money and earn a living. Historically, there were two other lines of work. You had producers, people who grew crops, raised livestock, made clothes, shoes, tools, other items that people needed. And there were service providers, cooks, cleaners, carpenters, tailors, soldiers, laborers, people who provided services to others. Both of these groups provided their labor, their thinking, their physical effort, and their skills to provide goods and services in exchange for money. So I distinguish these two groups from business people because while business people also applied their own personal effort and their labor, they had one additional tool that the other two groups didn't: capital. These people had access to money or money of their own, which they could use to leverage the labor of others. For example, merchants and traders could go to a farmer and buy wheat from him and sell that onwards to city people who didn't grow their own crops, cobblers, tailors, workers, so on. Enterprising traders could also commission people to do work for them, to create tools, shovels, spades, scythes, farm implements, and sell those on to farmers. And in doing so, they would make a profit, a business profit. But in addition to their role in helping connect buyers and sellers, these business people also took on risk. For example, someone who bought wheat from a farmer to sell onwards took on the risk that he might not be able to sell it all before it went bad. Someone who paid workers to make tools to sell to urban workers took on a risk that he could sell those tools for more than it cost to make them. By deploying capital to harness productivity and resources and bring these products and services to market, these people were engaging in business in a way that the other two groups were not. And for the longest time, this is how business worked. You put up capital, you harnessed resources, you took on risk, and you made a profit. But over time, business started becoming much, much more complex. You see, business has always been about earning a profit. So business people have always focused on how to maximize that profit and how to grow it. How do you grow profit? You can grow profit by charging more for what you sell. You can grow profit by paying less for what you buy, your inputs. Some of the less scrupulous business people would try to substitute and reduce the quality of their inputs, make them cheaper so that they make more money. The slightly better ones would try to put in the same inputs but source them cheaper. manufacture in Vietnam or Bangladesh, mine minerals in Congo. But all of the business people would focus on efficiency and productivity as a goal to increase profit. So productivity, doing more with the same set of resources, is built into the DNA of business. The greater the productivity, the greater the profit you make. So when we try and imagine how artificial intelligence is going to shape business, we can be sure of one thing. Businesses will seek to use it to increase productivity and to increase their profits. Now, there's nothing wrong with making profits. There's also nothing wrong with trying to be as efficient as possible to maximize your profits. This has always been the aim of business. But what changed as business evolved was the focus shifted from profit in absolute terms to the growth of profit. And this shift has had some very, very distortionary effects on the rest of the world. This is what I want you to understand. Before the first industrial revolution, production-oriented businesses were limited in their output by the physical power of the human and animal labor that they employed. With increasing mechanization in the steam engine, they found that they could create the same output with a lot less labor. This was a great leap in productivity. In principle, you could work less, produce the same output, and have a lot more free time. Do you think businesses operated this way? Paying people the same to produce the same output, but allowing them to work less? No. Businesses paid people the same, made them work the same, and they benefited from higher productivity and higher profits. In the second industrial revolution, you had electricity and the internal combustion engine. So you could now work all hours of the day. Factories started running 24/7. People started working longer hours. More productivity, more profit, longer work hours, fewer holidays. And in the age of computers, deadlines have become shorter, intensity has increased, everything is more urgent. At least in the early days of the internet, when you left the office, your email was off, and you could say that I'm not at my desk, not till the next morning. But in the age of smartphones, the world that you are growing up in, connectivity is instant. Emails come in at all hours of the day. The world is smaller, so you're collaborating with people in other countries and other time zones. You're working all the time. If anything, working hours have deteriorated. The work-life balance has deteriorated. But productivity is up. Profits are up. So with the advent of artificial intelligence, all the promoters of this technology will be talking about how wonderful this technology is, how much you could be doing with this. And that's true. It has opened up a world of new possibilities. People are extolling its virtues and saying that it'll increase your productivity, it'll save you time. You can focus on the things that you enjoy doing, focus on your passions because you'll be freed up. A utopian world. And I wonder, when in the history of human civilization have businesses allowed productive improvements to allow their workers more leisure time? Never. Business has always exploited technology for profit, and they will continue to do this with artificial intelligence as well. So what does this mean for you? It comes down to the sort of world you want to create going forward. My generation, I'm an older millennial, 1981, the earliest generation millennials. We bought into the lessons that my parents' generation had learned. My parents grew up during the greatest period of economic expansion in human history, the 30 years right after World War II. Opportunities were plenty then. Houses were affordable, and the value of your investments only went up. So we thought we could share in the same successes, that we would have the same perpetual growth. Then came the dot-com crash of 2001. And the increase in inequality to levels that have never ever been seen before in human history. Wealth inequality. All because big business was pursuing the growth of profit at all costs. So the broader generation that you guys are a part of, Gen Z, you tend to be relatively independent, entrepreneurially minded, and perhaps most hopefully for our collective future, you are socially and environmentally conscious, much more so than we were. You believe in sustainability and work-life balance and equity. These are the things that your generation has been exposed to because of these crises we went to, and that is hopeful for me. Because you all sitting here, especially you guys, you go to a great school, you have a great education, you have opportunities, and you will have the luxury of being able to choose your own career. So as you enter the workforce and start interacting with business, maybe some of you will join the world of business, you have a choice. What type of companies do you want to work for? What type of work do you want to do? What type of work-life balance do you want to pursue? How will you devote your life? Will it be in the pursuit of profit or in the pursuit of equity, justice, fairness, equality, humanity? You have this choice and you can make it now. Artificial intelligence is a tool and it is here to stay. It can be used to power medical research that may one day cure cancer, and to map out cities and look at how we can reduce pollution, as Dr. Appel just said. Or it can be used to see what is the maximum amount of price you can charge someone who is desperate for a drug. It can be used to prevent crime, or it can be used to surveil your private lives, as is happening today. It can be used to improve people's work-life balance and reduce the workload so humanity can pursue creative endeavors, art, literature, poetry, making movies, plays. Or it can be used to make everyone work much more, focus just on productivity and profitability. Right now, AI is not even, as it will continue to improve like the internet, but it is not a very efficient tool. It is hugely capital intensive, and it is very environmentally damaging. It is a substitute for labor in many ways. But a single query of AI will consume half a liter of water. ChatGPT consumes 1,000 gigawatt hours of electricity every year. Think about how many homes that can power. And the data centers and the chips that process your queries, they are made up of rare earth metals that are mined and cost the lives of thousands of people every year. AI is a powerful tool, but it extracts a very real and very adverse cost on the planet. So, how you use AI today, how you guys use it, because you're using it far more in many ways, because it's part of your DNA, it's the world you've been born into. How you use AI today is going to dictate in large part how it is adopted tomorrow and integrated into our lives, into our work, into our home lives. I hope that your generation harnesses it for good. Good that far outweighs its materially adverse costs. And I hope that you use it for far more than profit. The hope is in you guys. Thank you.